I will let you, because I'm not sure how to introduce him because he has more than one name. I will let you introduce our wonderful guest that you've brought with us today. You've brought with you today, I should say.
Yep. So Charles White, also known as Boston Black.
Hey.
Boston Black. You're a member of the Bulldogs.
Yes, LOG
gotcha.
and the Bulldogs. So
Gotcha.
I'm one member of the Bulldogs, LOG.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, well, I love that. You know, I Veranette had sent me a link to, what was the song you sent me? I forget.
I forgot which one I sent.
But then I was looking at a whole bunch of your stuff from that era, and I love what's the song I said that I really loved? That love,
I know, now I got to look it up because
Love Comes and Goes. Probably play that later.
That's a story about a lot of our fallen heroes.
Yeah,
that was a part of our group.
Yeah, great track. I have a lot of questions for you, but you, sir, you have a show coming up. Correct?
I do. I've been blessed to come from Boston to the Manchester area and get connected with the nightlife out here and do here what I love doing and what I did in Boston, which is promote the local artists. So the club formerly known as Panucci's, which is now 603.
Yes.
Yep.
In my opinion, is probably one of the hottest nightclubs on the Strip. Shout out to Kevin. He has given me an opportunity to do a concept. I'm a concept promoter. Turn Up Tuesdays. Turn Up Tuesdays. One Tuesday a month, the end of every month, I bring a combination of local artists and artists from either Boston, Connecticut, where have you, down and spotlight that talent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that a lot.
Yeah, so this August 31st, Turn Up Tuesday, we got a lot of the heavy hitters from out of Boston who will be coming down. Sandro Castro, Gandhi Quiggs. We got a local talent that's amazing. A young lady by the name of Unique Harmony. She has a voice of an angel. So it's going to be fun.
I've seen her online, I believe. That name's super familiar to me.
Yeah, she's amazing, her voice.
This will be the first one?
This will be the second one.
The second one, okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you said you called it concept. You're a concept promoter?
Yeah. So my thing is, you have an establishment. What you do on Fridays and Saturdays is locked in stone. You don't need me to come in and do anything. So, I like to take an establishment, where the ebb and flow of the clientele on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Yeah.
I want to bring a concept there.
Yeah.
I want to make it become a thing.
Yeah.
That people look forward to. I got Work It Wednesday coming in October.
What's it called? Work It Wednesday?
Work It Wednesday. For better or worse, on radio, if you got what it takes, you're a twerker, you come out and you work it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we give them $300 prizes to the best twerker.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
Nice.
Concepts.
You're obviously, you're from Boston. Have you done other concept promoting here in New Hampshire?
This is my first in New Hampshire.
Okay.
I've done elsewhere in New England. Boston was my hub.
Yeah.
That was my home base. So I had a couple different places that I did these things at.
Yeah.
And it's just once a month, give you that taste, that hunger. That you got something to look forward to that one Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday a month.
Excellent.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot.
We have a call.
It's Christian, and I just want to give big props to this man because he's supporting local artists and he's revitalizing the local nightlife scene out here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Well said.
Christian, also known as DJ Reckless, and he's, very active in the scene here.
Nice.
He's got a bunch of stuff coming up. He was, when I told him you were coming on today, he was excited. I said, call in.
Awesome.
Actually, he was more like pouting.
Yes.
If I had known.
Yeah.
And if I might add, because I truly don't know all of the artists here, I have been looking for the artists, the local artists, to send me their music,
Yep.
to connect with me so that I can put you on the stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you came to the right place at WMNH.
Hey,
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Christian might have some suggestions.
link with
Oh,
me.
of course. Actually, I think him and I know a lot of
You probably
mutual people.
You probably do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I ran into him Saturday. I was downstairs at Panucci's or 603 now.
You
with Curtis.
did.
Oh.
I remember now. You did, and we dapped it up, and we
Oh,
we
good.
said that we'll link.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. What do you have tonight, Christian? You've got. I can't keep it all
Well,
straight. Do you have,
I'm going out to Cheers and Beers. It's the grand opening.
tonight's the grand
I
opening
want
of
to go
Cheers and
support
Beers.
the homies.
Yeah. Excellent. Outstanding. All right. Very good.
Yeah, thank you guys. Keep it up. Keep revitalizing the scene. It's great to have you and see people caring,
Yeah.
for lack of better wording.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. I love music, man. I love hip hop, man.
Of course, that's the main reason I got into DJing.
Definitely.
All right, Christian. Thank you for the call.
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Christian Lacoste, also known as DJ Reckless. Yeah, he's got a lot. He's got a lot going on. So you started out as a performer, obviously, right? Or,
I did. I was like, probably, I was young. We were 16, 17,
Yeah.
just breaking into the music scene. And we didn't know what we wanted, what the positions anybody was going to play in the group.
yeah.
So I don't mind the mic. I don't mind the stage. So I was like the hype man / road manager /
yeah.
Back in the day when
back
you
in the
putting
day,
sticking stickers and
yeah,
on tape decks.
so did some stuff in the studio, that we took home and let mom listen to, but it was always fun to be on the stage.
I think it's cool that your mom could listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not all
Seriously.
parents. Not all parents are supportive. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So were you in a group that did harmonies or
No.
What
we
was
did
your
rap.
what was
We
your
did rap. We
your
did
rap? Okay.
Strictly rap. Our first album, national album that came out was entitled "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto," released on PWL Mercury Records. In fact, we were their first rap group.
Wow.
Yeah. And they went on to become one of the biggest labels in hip hop. They bought Island, they bought Def Jam, they bought this, they bought that, and the rest is history. But, we were that breakthrough group who were their first rap group.
Wow.
Were you? Did it change at one point? Am I reading this correctly? Was that OG into Bulldogs, and then it just became to Bulldogs?
So we kind of split after a while.
Yeah.
So the group itself was Ed OG and the Bulldogs, and Ed came out with his first album. Then each individual member would then go on to do his album, which they did, the Bulldog album, and then
Okay.
it was like a Wu-Tang movement back then before it was considered a movement.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got the first guy who gets through the door, holds the door open, and brings the rest of the crew in.
So you guys were kind of the template for that then, or at least in Boston, right?
In Boston, we was the first group aside from Keith Elam,
Okay.
Gangstar.
Yep.
He left the group. Props.
Wow.
Major props. He moved to Brooklyn
Okay.
and took the Gangstar movement to Brooklyn.
I honestly didn't know he was from. I'm familiar with him. I didn't know he was from Boston originally.
Everybody thought he was from Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah.
He's from Dorchester, Keith Elam.
I'll be damned.
Yeah,
Huh.
he's from Dorchester. I grew up with him.
Wow.
But, that's how it was. Back then, it was get through the door and bring us with you. You have a group of guys who all have individual talents.
Yeah.
Ed had his talent, Smooth Ice G, who's now known as Flaquito Chulo. He has his own talent. Bulletproof has his own talent. DJ Cruz has his own talent. Acting Up, was Darren, he went on to Hollywood to make movies, and come back to make, records. It was a movement. And we didn't realize that that's what we were doing, but it was a movement.
Now you weren't. Now, do you use the name Boston Black for everything now, or
I do.
Okay.
I do.
But you weren't using that name back then, right?
It was just Black.
It was just Black. Gotcha.
The name Boston Black, there's a story behind that.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to read my biography.
Oh, okay.
See? We're giving the plug.
Well, yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because
seriously, talk about that.
yeah, Veranette, when she messaged me, she said you're writing his bio.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And it's going to be a very interesting story. Like I feel it's going to be a type of book that you're going to pick it up and finish it that night because there's so many different things discussed in the book from the start, not just the music, but his life story.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, give us something.
Maybe a little teaser.
Give us a teaser, yeah. Like what?
What was something that you can share that was interesting that you found out, Veranette, when in starting to gather the information? What was something that was like, really?
Well,
Wow.
you know what? It's funny because when we're talking about the federal prison systems, Boston Black was involved with a lot of that, and it's almost like a Shawshank Redemption kind of thing. Really crazy what goes on. In the prison systems and how it's really, what do you call it? A society within a society.
Society within a society.
Okay.
But some stories about that, which I guess too, when you got into the religion part and, it's just so many different things that you'll see once you read in the book, people he's met, some mobsters.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
So, and just how he was involved with that and how things are, like you could be in one federal prison, let's say Texas, and then be transferred to Colorado, and then all of a sudden now be part of that group there because they already send a message like he's okay to be.
Oh, wow.
The kites that fly.
The kites, yep.
Interesting.
So, yep.
Interesting.
The kites that fly.
You really get an in-depth view of like how that works.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how did the two of you connect for this project, for the biography?
We actually met randomly.
It was so random.
We were at 603, and then he was speaking about how you wanted your story to be heard, and then I happened to mention that I did freelance write for Manchester Inkling,
Yes.
and I got involved in a couple things with that, and then I had him read a couple of the articles, and then we just took it from there.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
You know, if I might add, the LOG and the Bulldogs documentary dropped about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I was next in that series of documentaries. And for whatever reason, I was sharing my thoughts about the documentary with somebody
Yeah.
and overheard that she was a writer
Oh.
and that she was not just a writer, but like her work has gone abroad.
Yeah.
And as much as I think I can write, I've written a whole bunch of little manuscripts that I've never done anything with.
Yeah.
And when I seen, the professionalism that she put into her writing, now I guess the cat's out of the bag. People know that I didn't write the story.
Right.
So I came to her and I said, listen, I showed her what we had did.
Yeah.
Our group's history. I was totally honest with her about my history.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I had to get honest with her about it because I needed to spend time talking to her about the person that she was writing about.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I have to, and I don't mind sharing my story. It's truly not a story of redemption. It's just it's a story of, bad things happen to good people.
Yes.
Yep.
When you talk about redemption, then, everybody gets spooked out because they think it's a religious book. This is a story about bad things happening to good people who are in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong group of people.
Yeah.
So in order for me to get that story out, I needed to go deep down inside and I need to be honest with the person who was writing this story.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people who have great qualities. They're lost in the cracks because they're afraid to tell their truth.
Yes, that's very, very true.
They are so afraid to tell their truth till they get lost.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what's out there. And I'm the first person to tell you. I went to federal prison April Fool's Day, 1990.
Okay.
I came home. You ready?
Yeah.
Halloween 2008.
Okay.
In doing so, while there, I have a business degree and a psych degree.
Wow.
Got myself out of prison, became a paralegal. I can't practice, but I took the 2-year course.
No kidding.
Got myself out of prison.
I'll be damned.
Wow.
While out, I went to school, became a medical assistant, got my LPN, and went on to manage some of the biggest departments in the
kidding.
biggest hospitals in Boston.
Wow.
And then went back to teach at the very school that I graduated from.
No
That's
kidding.
awesome.
Wow.
Why? Because I had to share the truth.
Yeah.
And I talk this truth to people who are just like me, who are hiding in the shadows, afraid to tell people that's my story also.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a story of redemption. It's a story that you cannot allow your past to dictate your future.
Sounds very much like a survivor story.
Yeah. And that's where the gap came with Edo G and the Bulldogs and me. That's why you see the first 2 albums, you see me there on the cover. Everything afterwards, I'm vanished.
Oh, okay.
So my story is to let people know what happened.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's awesome.
I
That's
gotcha.
a really great thing to share.
And we're back together. Every member of the group, with the exception of Scientific, bless his soul, who passed,
Okay.
30 years later, still doing music.
Oh, so you're back together now?
Most definitely.
No kidding.
That's
Oh.
awesome.
We had our 30-year, we performed for the first time in over 20 years on stage together, all of us.
Wow, no kidding.
That is
At
so
603.
cool.
No
That
kidding.
is so cool.
That's amazing. That must have been
Wow.
surreal.
It was. So my story is to let people know that, thought is the cause of it all. And if you apply yourself, you can change your existence. You can change your reality.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Was there a moment for you where something kind of clicked? Because you obviously you started really going hard at getting an education while you were in prison. Right?
Now you're getting into the book.
Yeah, now you're getting into the book. It's
Well,
a chapter in the book.
Should I?
Not too
Oh,
much.
no.
I think we teased
Okay.
enough on the.
So, that's the book. I'm
See?
Yeah.
So don't you want to read it now?
I do.
See?
Big time, right?
I'm a healthcare professional. I own my own
I
healthcare
love that.
agency.
That's awesome.
And I don't mind telling people my truth because I don't want people to hide. I don't want people to be afraid.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that they cannot succeed.
Do you think the fact that you became a healthcare provider played a role in being able to be open about your story?
No,
Not at all?
no.
Nope. See, I was wondering just about taking care of others, if that makes it easier for you to.
It had nothing to do with it. My core is good. I come from a very great core. Values that my
Oh,
grandmother...
no. I didn't mean that. I
Oh,
think
no,
I
no.
said it the wrong way.
No. I understood exactly what you're saying.
Okay, cool.
This is the story of bad things happening to good people. It's always been there. I diverted. I made the wrong decisions. Not society, not the system, not the color of my skin. I made the bad decision.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I fixed it.
And it's basically showing too, because technically, and it would be mentioned in the book, but how anyone, because if you think about it, it's not just gang members in the prison systems. You got people like Bernie Madoff, or this, that screw people over or do something wrong. It could just happen to anybody that just makes a bad choice in life. And if you think daily on how many times a day you have to make choices,
Yep.
there's always going to be one that might not be the best.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, land you in a federal prison,
Yeah.
it could affect some money. It could be a negative, and so
Yeah.
it's just the choices that you make throughout
Yeah.
life.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So, but we're pushing for the book to be. We're gonna self-publish, but pushing for January 2022.
Okay. Is it done?
No, we still got plenty more to go. So I basically have been. We kind of just have conversation. I record everything like how I would with interviews.
Yeah.
For when I would do the journalism and basically certain keywords would pop out, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be a chapter. Boom, and we're going to separate it out.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just all conversation.
Yeah.
And then I'm there to pull out different information and questions.
You are seriously the Renaissance woman. You are our Renaissance woman. I love it.
She doesn't play.
There's nothing that she can't do. It's a lot easier to try and figure that. There's nothing you can't do.
Thank you.
Healthcare, promotions, bartender, writer,
Dancer.
autobiographer now, or biographer now. Yeah, dancer. Yeah. You got it all.
So, but it's like I said, it's gonna be a really gripping story, and what I want, and I definitely feel that I'll be able to portray definitely what Charles wants to bring out in the book.
Yeah.
But like I said, as you're reading through, to not want to put it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and finish it. And it's not going to, I don't want to make it like a real thick book or whatever, but enough where it's like, the chapters are shorter, just so that it's like, oh, okay, now on to the next thing. But
Yep.
it's still picking up, building that momentum.
No, I get you.
Charles, is this like therapy for you when you sit down with Veranette and you tell, because when you were talking about telling your story, how it was important to you to share your story, and some of the verbiage you used, it reminded me of someone talking about going to therapy.
It's ironic that you asked that question in combination with the first caller who called in.
Yeah. Yes, EZG. Yeah, Eric.
It's yes, to answer the question, it is therapy, because I had a conversation last night. I was at 603 about the writing, and somebody says to me, well, why don't you just keep doing the DVD series? I said, because the men and women who I left behind in federal prison, they don't have Amazon accounts. I want it to be in print so that it can reach them.
Oh, yeah.
So they can reach them, so that they can know that is not final.
Right.
So when you ask the question about whether or not it's therapy, most definitely, because she's given me the opportunity to express those thoughts, to let people see the steps that I took to make it possible, and to get it out in bulk to people, as opposed to me sharing these thoughts with people at a cookout.
Right.
Or over a beer.
Right.
I don't have to know you to read my thoughts, and it becomes helpful for you. It's therapy for me because I'm talking about it. I'm not a powder keg giving off sparks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
I'm releasing it, that pressure.
Yeah.
And going back to what the original, that caller, mental health is not a topic that's discussed among the rap community or even in the urban communities, be them white, black, or Hispanic.
Yeah.
Depression, mental health, it is real, and it affects all of us.
Yes.
Whether you realize it or not. As a kid, I was classified, he has he's hyperactive. Well, that's ADHD now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they could have given me medication back then, I'm sure they probably would have. And then being away in isolation for so long, the depression sets in. The wondering, what did I do with my life, sets in.
Oh, I bet.
Those questions begin to kick in.
The rumination.
The self-doubt, all of it. And when I applaud that gentleman who actively seeked help.
Yes.
Because a lot of us don't seek help. Here's what men do. We transfer emotions. When we're in pain, it comes out aggressive, anger. We're PO'd. And people are like, what's wrong with him? But what they don't know is that deep down inside, there's something going on at the core that I'm afraid to talk about.
Right.
Because if I discuss it, I'm going to be looked at as though I'm a cuckoo.
Yeah. What's that expression? Anger is just sadness stuffed down or something. I don't have that quite right, but there's an expression about that. I think it's gotten better, though, right? I mean, just broadly in terms of the stigma. Like, I struggle with depression, and
As do I.
yeah, and so many of us do. And 10 years ago, I wasn't. I mean, I never would have just openly said that. You know what I mean? I tried to hide it. And probably not much longer than 10 years ago, I tried to even hide it from myself. I wouldn't even admit it to myself that I had a problem. I would try to tell myself, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. But now I feel comfortable openly speaking about it because, well, there's millions of us, who struggle with
You're
this.
not alone.
So, yeah.
And if you look on your, I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden now it's just all over my Facebook feed. Like if you suffer from depression, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Before I had to be honest with myself about it because it pushed my family away from me.
Yeah.
Here I am, 6 foot. I was bigger than this. Bald head, black guy. I'm the rock. I'm the strength of the family. I cannot tell them that I have issues and bouts of depression, sadness. I'm supposed to be strong for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But when you give yourself continuously to people, you become emotionally bankrupt. You have nothing for yourself when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
So people begin to ask the question, what's wrong with you? Oh, well, I some stuff on my mind. That's how we chalk, that's how we chalk it up.
Yes,
I got some
know.
stuff on my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm afraid to tell them what's really on my mind.
Yeah.
Why I stay in the room for days on end, why I just shut down, become a recluse and don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because the weight of the world, I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stifling me. My chest,
Yep.
I can't breathe. My hands, I get sweaty. My anxiety is elevated.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that. So
Yeah.
now all of the celebrities, and here's the funny thing, we're common folks. Now the celebrities are talking about it. It's become a thing now.
Yeah.
Where people are coming out of the woodwork, laying down their careers and saying, I need to deal with my mental health.
Yep.
We couldn't do that back then.
Right. So there's progress.
There is progress, and I like it.
But you were saying in terms of in terms of the hip hop community, there's no.
Well,
is there still a stigma there?
of course there is.
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
She and I were talking just yesterday. And I'm going to take it away from hip hop for a second.
Sure.
And I'll tie it in later. Kurt Cobain.
Yes.
Janis Joplin. Jimi Hendrix. We're talking about kids who had nothing and all of a sudden became somebody.
Yeah.
Mass amounts of money. So here's what happened. People come out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Those people feel entitled. I need you to do something for me now.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to help me out. That's pressure.
I'm your long lost cousin.
Yeah,
Don't
that-
you remember me?
Yeah, that's pressure. And now you have the guy over here who's plying you with drugs, right?
Yeah.
You have all of the resources now to buy these drugs.
Yeah.
So when that pressure from the outside gets too much, drugs become your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol become your friend. You self-isolate and indulge.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the explosion when the overdose comes. You know what people say?
Yeah.
He was a junkie. Yeah, he was an alcoholic. No. They didn't look at what happened prior to that.
Right.
Same thing applies in the urban community with hip-hop. Here's kids from the ghetto. Their hobby becomes their bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
So now the pressures from the friends, from the gangs, from the families, all of that now, boom, just jumps right on them, right? The pressure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So what happens now? Self-indulging in drugs and alcohol,
Yeah.
right? Sitting by yourself saying, damn, all these people, my phone is blowing up. My inbox is blowing up. Everybody feels like I owe them something.
Yeah.
Do you know how depressing that is?
I've never heard anyone explain it this way before, but it makes perfect sense.
People don't look at it.
The way that you explained, what happens when, all of a sudden you've got money, you've got celebrity and all that. I'd never heard anyone explain it quite that way before. And, I think too, you mentioned Kurt Cobain. It's, I think people who've never struggled with depression, with because I think everyone gets depressed at some point, but, there's a difference between clinical depression, whether it's a chemical imbalance in the brain or whatever, and the kind of depression that anyone can experience, say, after the loss of a loved one or something. But I think people who've never experienced clinical depression and don't have any direct experience with it, from their standpoint, they can't understand. And it's not their fault. It's that they don't know how it feels. They don't understand why anyone would be sad for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when Kurt Cobain killed himself, all these people would say, this doesn't make any sense. He had money. He had fame. He was on top of the world. He was at the height of his career. You know, how could this man take his own life? And it's like, well, he was depressed, and it wasn't, you know, he didn't necessarily need anything to be sad about. That's the nature of that beast, of that demon that is depression.
And it goes to show you that these things, too, if you think about it, and you hear about it all the time, as cliche as it is, where it's like money can't buy you happiness. No. You're like, it helps, you know, pay the bills, and, you know, you won't have those worries. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if you don't fix what's inside of you and what's really going on, and you have that open conversation with yourself, you write it down, you do this. And even when I moved back, you remember that whole, I was having all that, those panic attacks and whatever else. And even though I didn't feel anything was happening, like it wasn't like I was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm having an issue, you know, or whatever. It was something maybe subconscious or whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, like even at work where I almost had a stroke. That's why I'm like moved back. And then I was getting these panic attacks. Remember, I couldn't breathe. And all of a sudden, I go, where's this coming from?
They can truly feel like you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Which is why you got to go to the hospital, because you don't know which one it is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to get the right treatment.
But it's just crazy how it could just happen.
Well, and, you know, I think this is such a great topic, especially to talk about men's mental health, because I don't think we talk about it nearly enough. Mm-hmm. But we can see the other examples. Chester Bennington, look what happened there, and what happened, and who passed away right at the same
Chris
time.
Cornell.
Chris Cornell. They both committed suicide within a very short period of time of one another.
Yeah.
And that depression is I think the word that came to mind was that people who have never been that depressed can't think that way.
Right.
So they can't understand it. It's like somebody will say that, you know, they like, I don't understand how that person can hit that child that way because I'm not capable of thinking that way.
Right.
If I've never been that depressed, never clinically depressed, I'm not necessarily capable of thinking that way. It's not a bad thing. It just means I can't relate to it.
Right. Yeah.
So I need to not try and just relate to it, but just be there for that person.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got to do an audio version too.
Definitely.
Well, we were actually discussing. Remember, I was discussing that with you because I'm like, I don't know if you would want to have you actually telling your own story, like reading the book and doing the audio, or if you decided to pick.
Oh no,
someone
should do
else.
It.
But...
You should totally do it. Absolutely, you should totally do it.
I'll try to do it in a Morgan Freeman voice.
You don't have to try. You got a great voice already.
Thank you.
But no, for a shout out to those of us who have a little vision issues. I live for my audiobooks, and I love it when it's the person that it's about reading it. You know, I'm so into that. You got to do it. You got to, because you know what? You can tell your story from an emotional point that has so much more power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tori Amos did a book recently, Resistance, I think is what it was called. And to hear her tell her story, but then read her lyrics as her poetry was so powerful.
Yeah.
And you got to do it. Plus, you got a really good voice there, let me just say.
See, so it might actually work. So.
Got a nice voice down there.
I would imagine in prison, it's. I mean, what do you do if you're struggling with mental health issues and
they lock you up? They put you in a shoe.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
They put you in a special housing unit.
They actually make it worse because then they isolate you.
Yeah.
Right, and they take all your clothes away, and they put you in a paper outfit.
Depending on the extent, it depends on, the incident.
Yeah.
So if they put somebody there, does like a mental health provider come and talk to them throughout the day, or are they just stuck in isolation?
No. So while there, because I have a degree in psychology, they took... In prison, it's just like, you have everybody's basically there from a variety of professions.
Yeah.
So if you have a particular skill, you just show proof of this skill, and then you can take this training that they had. It's called Suicide Companion.
Okay.
So I was a suicide companion. When they would have an active suicide watch, we would take turns to watch the individual. If this person is actively on suicide watch, then he or she has nothing but a paper gown.
Wow.
And
okay.
just a blanket. You're not allowed to, a mattress. You're not allowed to pass anything back and forth between them. They're in a glass cell, plexiglass cell, where they're being observed. But at the end of the day, that person truly doesn't get any treatment. They're just watched for 72 hours.
Okay.
And the doctor will come down and you're going to stay in here until you stop doing what you're doing.
Jeez.
But there is no true intervention. There's no treatment. There's no programs or anything.
Wow.
So you're screwed, basically.
And hopefully, too, once the book comes out and maybe this becomes popular, I'm always looking on
looking on the horizon.
Yeah,
so
but the awareness of this, and maybe things can happen now in the prison systems to fix these things that are coming to the forefront. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, you're still probably, even if a crime was committed, stuff. But if the help isn't there, how can anything be fixed? And then you get angry when people commit the same crimes again or do the same things again because
I'm glad you said that, because it actually reminded me of something Maddie and I talked about fairly recently, and that's when we all sit there and when most people sit there and go, oh, if you ever need something, I'm a voice, give me a call, I'll be right there. But how many people are really there when the person calls that doesn't get mad at them? Why'd you bother me? I had to run home. Why is that going on? Why is this going on? Are you really there, or are you yelling at them and poo-pooing on them? When you know what I mean? If you say to somebody, "I'm going to be here for you. I'll listen." Be there. Don't get mad if they ask you to.
Right.
But I think we fail each other because we're so quick to get angry over this or that. Oh, I missed this or I missed that. That we don't stop and go, oh, yeah. Because, when we do that is after they're gone and we're at their funeral and we're going, gee, I wish they'd said something.
Right.
Well, they probably did. And you probably weren't all that receptive. I would really want to know how all of these things that you've done incredible things in your life, and you've gone through a lot of things. I see you as that survivor. How does that come out or come into play in the music that you're creating?
Well,
or does it at all? Is your music more of an outlet?
I more so guide the artist. I'm that person who give that artist the outlet.
You're more into the management side at this point, right?
I'm the back room guy.
Yeah.
But you'll see my names on the flyers. You'll see me on the stage.
When you look at somebody though, what's that? Do you look for something specific that goes, yeah, I want to highlight that soul. I want to bring that energy to the stage, or is there something that just you look for, a quality that you look for in your artists?
No. It's a old Italian guy told me years ago. He says, Charlie, baby, you got it. And I said, what? He said, I don't know, but you got it.
That it. Yeah.
Right? So, case in point, I'm sitting outside 603 before the whole name change. And I'm having lunch. And I hear this voice out of nowhere. I didn't realize how close it was to me. And I turn around and my eyes are just glued to this young girl sitting in the corner, singing at the top of her lungs, singing her heart out. And this lady came over and she's like, keep going, girl, keep going. And I just sat there and I watched her just sing. And she touched base on 4 or 5 different genres of music. And she was like, well, what do you want me to sing? You want me to sing a country song? And she did it. And whatever the girl asked her to sing, she hit it.
Wow.
And I waited for a couple of days because I didn't want to come across as the creepy guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was watching you from the corner of the room.
I said to her a couple of days later, I said, you have an amazing voice. She says, how do you know I can sing? And I says, I heard you the other day. That sparked the conversation. I said, have you ever done music before? professional.
Was she performing there, or she was just
No,
like at the table in the corner just
server.
singing along?
She's the young lady who serves the drink. This is Unique Harmony.
Oh, that's awesome.
Uriah.
Okay. See, I'm not familiar with that artist.
I talked to her, and I says, I would like to bring you to Boston to our studio and have you sing for my guys. And, she was like, sure. And one Thursday, we sent her the address, and she came down to Cruise Entertainment in Attleboro. We got a big studio down there, and she blew those guys away.
Wow.
So I says to her, I want you to do my show on July 27th. And she came down, and she did the show on July 27th, and it was such a demand for her that I'm putting her back on the show for August 31st. And we actually sent her music so that she can write to.
Yeah.
So it's stories like that where these voices just come out of nowhere. I remember as a kid when I would go to the radio station, 95.3 FM Street Beat in Harvard Station. It was on Quincy Street downstairs from the fire department. I was real young. And you would hear this lady strumming her heart out, singing, Homeless Lady. Well, years later, this lady became Tracy Chapman.
No kidding?
No kidding. Wow.
I love her. I
So,
love her.
You got another part of the book.
Music, you never know who has that voice.
That is so cool that you found somebody like in a. You see that in movies, but you don't think it happens in real life.
She's amazing, and we are trying to work with her to make her a star.
And this is someone you're going to have at 603?
She's going to be there on the 31st. Her name is
she
Uriah.
currently works there now.
She works there.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
She works there, and her voice is beautiful.
Oh, see, now I'm kind of curious here to go hear that voice.
Her stage name is Unique Harmony.
I like that name. I do like that name quite a bit.
She's amazing.
By the way, do you ever run into a situation where you meet someone, an artist who you see something in them, they have that it, but then you kind of maybe you get to know them or you get to work with them, and then it turns out maybe they don't have maybe they have the it, but they don't have any. See, because
there's a hollow hole behind.
Well, the thing is, because I used to do a lot of promotion, local promotion and stuff. I've gotten away from all that, but I used to do that, and like when we used to have the Uptown Tavern up the street, I did a lot of shows there where I'd book a bunch of bands on a night.
Yeah.
But and I did a little bit of artist management, but I came up with an axiom. I always said everyone wants to be a star, but only as long as it's easy.
Yeah.
Because I just would run into so many people who. They might have all the talent in the world. They might have it, but no motivation, no drive.
We talked about that.
Stop for a
we
second.
actually talked about that.
Really?
Because the thing is, no one wants to push. You have to do some of your own legwork, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They just think they're going to go from home.
Matt doesn't know anything about people expected to do their own work.
Crazy Joe. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Our friend Crazy Joe.
I'm laughing because I don't know if you go back on you and I are Facebook friends now, so I don't know if you go back and see any of my old posts. And the other day she says to me, "What was up with that post? And people were inboxing me like, you just went crazy on all artists."
Oh, I love that kind of stuff. I'm gonna have to look for that. Yeah.
I was basically saying, like, I have a platform for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have laid out the map for you. All you have to do is get here.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of artists who think that because they got 5,000-10,000 views on YouTube, that they're superstars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, you're not a superstar when you're singing for your mother, your brother, your sister.
Yeah.
That's family. Those are not fans.
Yeah.
And then when artists are up there and they're challenging each other, make some money first, make a name for yourself. Don't come out the door with the boxing gloves up.
Right.
Relax, man. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And you look at, I have found just from being on YouTube or guys sending me random music, there is a lot of talent here
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
in New Hampshire. I'm getting music right now as we speak.
Yeah.
People are sending me
Oh, I
links to
believe
music.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and Boston has some of the greatest artists. You have artists like Made Men, RSO, you know, Fam Feta, Sandro Castro. These artists, they know that there's work that need to be done. This business is an action-oriented business. You cannot go in the studio, do a demo, and sit home and wait for people to come and buy it.
Right.
Radio spots, videos, DVDs, what have you, those are just marketing tools to make your fans want to come out and see you.
Yes.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
So that means it's going to take work, and a lot of people don't want to do the work right now.
I think that's part of today's society, though. It seems like because we're such a have it yesterday society. I need my satisfaction now.
Yep.
It seems like, especially personally for younger folks, I have found it difficult to say, you know, you slow down. You got to get some experience going. You got to get in there and do the job and earn a name and earn a reputation, and that takes years. It's not a week. It's not overnight. It's not go watch a YouTube video and you're good to go. And I feel like today's society is just so I wanted it yesterday that sometimes it's hard to find people willing to put in the work to actually get there.
Well, on that note, I'll give you all some homework.
Oh.
Go on to YouTube. There is a video. It's called Millennials in the Workplace.
I think I've seen this, actually.
Wait a minute.
It
Isn't that
touches
what we are?
base.
No, we're not that.
It hits the nail right on the head as to what you just said.
I bet.
And I used it as a teaching tool.
Yeah.
Millennials in the workplace. And then you can inbox me and tell me what you think, or you can put it on the post and tell me millennials in the workplace.
I have to check that one out.
I used to, you'll appreciate this, Charles. I used to always, when I would do shows, I would talk about the mythical record company scout. You know, these people who think that, you know, they're going to go and play some shows in their local bar. They're going to play a couple times, and then the mythical record company scout is going to show up one night and be so impressed that he's going to whip out a contract with a 10-album deal. And
now you're Pretty Woman.
And then the next day you're on a plane flying to the Playboy Mansion for a meeting with some executive. But
they still have that place? I thought he died.
Yes, a wrap.
He died, I think.
The place still stands.
Yes.
His daughter oversees the operation.
Oh,
I didn't know
there's
that.
still a bunny house.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
But I want to make sure we promote, it's August 31st?
August 31st, Turn Up Tuesdays Club, 603 Bar and Grill, Manchester, New Hampshire. Come out, turn up with us on that night. Doors open at 8 o'clock, 21 and over.
Excellent.
What about for people who don't like turnips?
Well,
I can't be the first one to use that joke.
Seriously.
All right.
Is that like a dad joke?
That was terrible.
Well,
wah, wah.
Am I the first one to use that joke?
I've never heard that. Everybody likes to turn up. Man.
Okay.
You just don't know. You just don't know. It's a natty thing.
Yeah. But by the way, is there somewhere people should go online specifically to keep up with everything that you're doing? Because obviously you're doing other events.
Yeah, they can. Right now, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is at 603. So please go on 603's Facebook page, like them, friend them, share them. It's 603 Bar and Grill, Manchester, New Hampshire. Or you can find me on Facebook, Boston Black. Of course, you and I are friends, so
Yes.
Boston Black, you'll see an image of me with the mic in my hand that says, "We can do this. I'm vaccinated." And my group, NOG and the Bulldogs, are in the background. But 603 Bar and Grill, like their page, share their page, look at their fan. They have a lot of the upcoming events that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You can follow us there, or you can just go straight to Boston Black.
And for the book, we're looking at what, January, you said?
January,
probably?
I'm hoping to start getting it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to push for that. Might go a little over, but let's see.
How much of an adjustment, by the way, was that when you came out? And we've got Facebook and things
can
like
I
that.
Can I just one thing about when I first came, please?
No, we got to see.
I think it's the funniest.
Oh, no.
Oh, let him. Come
Sure.
on. It's going to be
I want to hear it.
the one
Okay.
story. Come on, please.
All right.
Like, so Bluetooths. Do you know the things you put in your ear?
Bluetooth, yep.
I had never heard of him, never seen him before. And I was on the platform at downtown Crossing.
I know where this is going.
Waiting for the train, and everybody was talking to themselves. And I was like, huh? And people were like giving me the finger, like, shh, pointing at their ear. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Everybody's crazy.
It's
like,
wow. Yeah.
Flip phones, I'm forget about it. Yeah. Culture shock.
Yeah.
Everybody was crazy.
That.
That's great. I especially appreciate that because to this day, it is the year 2021, and I still haven't gotten used to seeing that. When I see someone just talking, like I wonder, is that person crazy or do they have a Bluetooth in? Because around here, you can't.
Yeah,
you
here
can't
we
be
are
sure.
talking about mental health, right?
Oh, no.
And here we are
Well,
talking
true.
about being tolerant with mental health.
Yeah,
Like,
listen to this one
I was
over
so
here.
freaked out by
Listen to, oh, God, right?
Oh yeah, that had to be wild.
Something's in my head.
Charles,
All right.
Boston Black, thank you so much, my friend.